So, I know this kind of video isn't really my usual sauce I'm giving you, but I got some stuff on my mind and I'm willing to share. I don't really come out and do that many videos so very consistently, so I'll just present you with the content. You'll see what it is. So, the NBA, the National Basketball Association, filled with 30 teams just trying to do their best to see how they win. Or are they? Because there's a nefarious organization or nefarious mindset that we all must go after and we all must deny. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is tanking. Oh my god, this tanking. If you fucking look up tanking, there will be news article after news article about how the NBA goes against it, how tanking is wrong, how they need to fight tanking. The NBA's newest plan to fight tanking. Tanking is bad. And I come up with, I look at some of them and I'm just like, I don't see why tanking is an issue. I'm not gonna lie, this could be a terrible take. I might be a biggest asshole ever. I've only been watching basketball all my life. Maybe I'm a fucking idiot. But like, I don't see tanking as an issue. Look, in this fucking Victor Wembanyama sweepstakes, if you never heard of the name, you probably have. He's fucking 7'4" Steph Curry. Generational talent, from what we've been hearing. But anyway, some of these sweepstakes, you would think tanking would be such a terrible issue. Oh my goodness, all the tanks. And yet, coming into the season, we have had like rumors of the most competitive Eastern Conference in history. Like, if it's such an issue, why are all these teams in such a good place and so competitively viable? Like, my team, the Bulls. The Bulls have two top 25 players, DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine, on their team. And a lot of people have them going under 500. They have them undergoing 500, a fringe play-in team. And they have two top 25 players. That's insane. You're telling me there's a roster that good, and yet they're a fringe team because that's how stacked the Eastern Conference is? You're telling me that this Eastern Conference is about 10 to 11 teams deep? So that's how competitive? That's competitive right there. That is incredibly competitive. And just so there's a bottom four teams or bottom three teams that's going to be bad because you know they're going to be bad? Yeah, they're going to be bad. You know why? Because their rosters are worse. They're just not able to compete. And like, you could say, oh, it goes against the fans. The fans are against it. It's like, no. They go to any fans organization on a losing team, and they'll tell you upright. It's like, oh, yeah, I'd tank so that we can get a better player next year. Because basketball isn't going anywhere. There's going to be a next year. Unless there's, the fucking bigger COVID happens, and then there isn't a next year. But it's gonna stay. Basketball's gonna stay. And what tanking does, it's not just saying tank is like, oh, I never want to win again. No, tanking is a viable strategy that teams use so that they can be better later. Like, it's being better for later. That's literally all it is. You're not just saying you're losing because you're losing, because no one just wants to lose. You're doing it for a profit. You're doing it for better. And like, look at like some of the teams starting. I know it's early, but look at some of the teams starting out. The teams that supposedly were supposed to be tanking this season. You got two that come to mind: Spurs and Jazz, top 3 and 4 in the Western Conference right now. So they were supposed to be the worst in the league. Jazz traded away all their players for picks. Spurs traded DeJounte Murray, who was like the only bright spot on the Spurs roster that was young and growing. They got other players, but, supposedly from many people will tell you, they were the worst. Their roster is poorly equipped. They got no stars. And they don't even have the depth to compensate, while the Jazz do. They're top in the conference. And some of the bottom teams, like, you have the Rockets because they have a worse roster. You have the Kings. Kings are a terrible franchise. They'll always be in the bottom. The Lakers, they don't have picks because they threw it all away for LeBron. Like, they're throwing away their picks all the way for LeBron, and they're still losing. You think that team is tanking to get Victor? They can't fucking get Victor. That's how fucking real that is. They can't get Victor. And fucking LeBron team, he fucks over those teams after he leaves, right? And then I saw another bullshit argument by Bleacher Report. Like, oh, tanking encourages these super teams. No, it fucking doesn't. Do you know what's the worst dynasty probably in NBA history, and that was completely unfair? The Warriors from 2016 to 2018 with Kevin Durant. Fucking bullshit. Tell me right now that Kevin Durant being there wasn't absolutely horseshit. It was absolutely horrid. It broke the league. They were completely dominant. They could rest their players throughout the season, and in the playoffs, they blew past anyone. Their competition was a joke, right? That team wasn't based off of tanking. The Warriors made history before Kevin Durant came on for how many wins they got. They made fucking history. That's how good they were. They made history before Kevin Durant made on that roster. That wasn't caused by tanking. That was caused by a bullshit clause in free agency. And Kevin Durant being a bitch, but that's a topic for later. But like tanking doesn't resolve the issue. So that was like Bleacher Report's main argument. Like, I'll dissect this whole fucking article. And then they go, now these lower teams go for, the newest product, the Victor Wembanyama's, the Zion Williamsons and such. Why is that an issue? You're not going to win regardless. Why is that an issue? Like I said, this league is as competitive as it's been in the last 15 years. There is no clear-cut dynasty that can really fuck over people. Like, there's no Warriors, there's no Heat, there's no Spurs, there's nothing. It's all, many people will tell you, there's absolutely no idea where it could go to. And you know how there's so much parity the last few seasons? The top winningest teams in the conferences aren't usually the ones that come out very far anymore. Which used to be, one seed means you're fucking fit. Ask the Suns. That's how they're doing. So they all get in this headspace, like, tanking is bad because, this is another argument in the Bleach Report. I was like, tanking goes against winning, and that's the whole essence of the league. And it's like, okay, and yet there's another 20 teams that are winning. Like, how much of an issue? And a lot of these losing teams, like, they can still pull fans. Like, a lot of the losing teams have young and exciting rosters, Oklahoma's doing good, but they're young and exciting. The Rockets are a young and exciting roster. They nurture. All the losing teams right now have some decent picks, like Magic and Pistons. All of them have decent rosters. Like, that's exciting. Fucking, I'm a New Yorker. I fucking went to a shit ton of Knicks games, and you know what? We fucking sucked for a long-ass time. James Dolan sucked. Everything fucking sucked. And you know what happened? It was sold out every fucking day. Knicks tickets were still some of the most expensive in the league because it's still fucking sold. NBA sells. You cannot tell me it doesn't because NBA goddamn sells. So revenue's not an issue. Losing so they get a better pick is not an issue. Tanking doesn't even seem to happen that much regardless because even though their organization can be like, do this. If this is like something that NFL does really well and does kind of well, but like it's emphasized how even though I have this fucking jackass general manager telling me I'm gonna fucking lose, I want to get paid, I want to look good, so the players still pull out. Like an organization can say, players play worse, but if I'm a fucking but mid-20s budding player, I'm trying to look for my best payday, and I could step in a bigger role with the worst team, I'm gonna fucking perform, I know some won't, but I know I will, because fuck this team, especially, like, look at it. The NBA isn't what it used to be. It's a player league, It used to be about the team, now it's about the player. If I'm a player and it's player-oriented, I'm gonna play for my fucking bag. Fuck this team. If this team says fuck me, I'll go to the next one. Like you're not even factoring the player aspect. So players will go against tanking, like, naturally. Tanking isn't even that much of an issue. The league will still be competitive. So what the fuck is wrong with tanking? Like, I'm starting to get pissed off now because it's become it. Look up tanking. There is nothing that says anything positive about tanking, and it's all about the NBA. No, tanking is not just an NBA idea. It's been fucking everywhere in every sport for the dawn of man. And they're saying, we gotta monitor this Victor Wembanyama tank. And it's like, do you know what happened before there was Victor Wembanyama? There was poor-ass draft classes. There was, poor-ass draft classes where there was no stars. And yet, the teams were resting their stars regardless, which I do admit. I don't like the resting the stars thing. I think, it should be kept to a minimum. That is one thing I think resting players, it does ruin the competitiveness then. But just, fucking going full throttle and saying tanking sucks. It's completely different. It's two completely different scenarios. One is a viable fucking strategy to say, oh, we don't want to hurt our players during the regular season, so we're just gonna have them fucking lay there until playoffs until they show up. Like, that's fuck off, you know? Like, oh, they get a rest. But tanking's literally is just like, oh, we're not in a fucking playoff position. Let's just fucking, try to get a better pick. Like, it's so fucking ridiculous. It's so fucking ridiculous. There are so many more problems in the NBA. So many more problems. And they fucking choose tanking as, like, the fucking Satan that we all need to stand up together and hold our fucking crucifix up high and show that you, Satan, you have no hold on us. Get out of our league. It's so ridiculous. Like, all of this bullshit. I can't emphasize just how frustrating it is, just how much they emphasize this when it really isn't a problem. Like, every single fucking other sentence or article they have about Adam Silver is like, oh, tanking needs to be cracked down on. Oh, tanking is really bad. Blah, 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 you know? Like, Jesus Christ. Like, just fucking grow a pair and say it's not an issue. Like, I debunked Byreeds before, but all they basically say is like, oh, tanking leads to superstar teams. No, they fucking don't. Alright, let's go past to the past NBA champions, alright? Let's go in the past NBA champions, right? And we'll fucking see. We'll fucking see if they're done by tanking, right? Tanking's really been an issue of turn by, let's say 2010s when it was starting game. We'll say 2005. We've been making more greater. And say, oh, is this team a product of tanking? These are NBA champions, by the way. If their base roster is a product of tanking, then I'll agree with you. If fucking one of these, all right? Ready. 2005, San Antonio Spurs with Detroit Pistons. Fucking very good Detroit Pistons team. They were able to win last year, and Spurs were the fucking most dominant team of the decade. So, yeah, not tanking, buddy. Fucking Boston Celtics. Not Boston Celtics. Fucking Miami Heat. Shaq goes to fucking Heat. Shaq goes to the Heat. They win. That tanking? No, that's a free agency move. San Antonio Spurs again. Boston Celtics. Fucking two of the best players in the game go to the Celtics. That's not tanking. That's a team getting better with the two fucking superstars. That's not fucking tanking that caused that. Lakers wanted back to back. You know, they have a great roster. They had Kobe there. That wasn't caused by tanking. Dallas Mavericks, a really cool upset against the Miami Heat, which was a bunch of star-studded team. Mavericks roster barely changed for a while. So that's also fucking ridiculous. Then you got Miami Heat, that was created by a dynasty of just importing superstars for 2 seasons. Then you got San Antonio beating Miami again, showing that they, once again, were a dominant fucking team. It wasn't caused by tanking. Then you go for the Warriors-Cavs saga for the next 4 years. Yeah, I already fucking explained that, you know. Superstars going to different teams. That didn't cause a championship team. Raptors get a superstar. Like, all these are either base strong teams or just a superstar coming in. Like, where is the tanking success? If tanking was such an issue and that it causes teams to be, stacked up too high. Like, 76ers is the greatest example of that. 76ers was a blatant tank for so long. They were god fucking awful. What came of it? A decent couple winning seasons. It was good. It was entertaining. They were competitive. It was like, oh, will 76ers make the push of number 1 seed? Will they make the championship? It was interesting. But then they go, and then they fucking shoot themselves in the foot because, they add issues. Like, you can't just make superstars from tanking, but it's a way to try to be competitive. So when it comes to making teams overpowered, it fucking doesn't do that. Like, it just gets them more wins for later, and I don't see it as an issue. And then another argument is like, oh, it goes against the core values of winning. No, it doesn't. Like, they're losing for the sake of winning. Like, they're losing purposely so they can win later on more. I don't get that logic at all. It's so dumb. Like, of course, if you're gonna lose anyway, you lose a little. You can lose a little purposely, so you can be better for the next few seasons. And then they talk about, oh, the fans. Maybe the fans will like. No, most fans will tell you on those sucky teams, yeah, we want to fucking tank so we get a fucking baller on our roster next season. Of course we would do, so we can look good in the later years.
I'm not going anywhere. You know, most fans aren't going anywhere. We're gonna fucking watch the team next season, aren't we? We're fans of the team. You know, I feel like all the fucking people that hate tanking is all those bandwagoners that jump from player to player. It's absolutely fucking ridiculous. Like, there's so many of these bullshit arguments that they bring up the tanking. It doesn't even relate to tanking. Like, all of these arguments relate to like superstars moves more that cause issues. So it's absolutely ridiculous. And they start trying to straw man you and say, if we let tanking go, what else will the team shortcut? Or what else will the teams try to manipulate in their favor? It's like, dude, that's a fucking straw man. You're straw man. Like, they're gonna do something bad if you allow it. I bet. That's a fucking straw man. It's not like all these owners are like, oh, I'm out to get my team. I want them to always fucking lose. No, they're losing for the sake of winning later. Like, that is where the issue stops. It's not an issue if they're trying to win. They're just not trying to win immediately. Like, you fucking get that? It's not a hard concept to understand, but these people seem like it's a fucking insane concept. And even with those teams losing, or I guess failing to lose in this season's case, the league is still competitive. There's still a good 20 teams at least that have a shot of saying, damn, they have a good roster. They're going to be exciting this year. Like, fucking unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. Yeah. It just riles me up because I feel like no one else is paying attention to this. But, yeah, that's my fucking rant. I didn't mean for it to become a rant, but you're going to enjoy the 16-minute rant for no reason. So enjoy. I'll see you guys around.